Hey guys, this is Jared, and today we're gonna play a little Junkyard Simulator 2021. I just wanted to go over a few tips with you today. This is a game where when I first started it, I knew it was about putting stuff on cars, taking cars apart, putting cars together, fixing things, making money to get better things, but there was a lot of things about this game I just didn't understand right out of the gate. And so I've spent a lot of time figuring all those things out. I'd like to make just a quick little video to give you guys some beginner tips if you're just starting. I think the game is really cool, man. I'm really not a huge car guy, but I do enjoy this game. I played a little bit. So today we are going to talk about the junkyard. And you have to level up a little bit before you can go to the junkyard. Well, you can't just go to the junkyard for free. You have to pay money. I believe it costs about 500 credits. So there's two things that we're going to talk about the junkyard. The first thing we're going to talk about is all the parts. You're going to walk around the junkyard. The junkyard's pretty big, man. You can see there's a lot of places you can walk around. You see these piles right here, and you can take the parts out of them. Everything has a purpose. There's something I can do with everything in here, even the steering wheels and the seats. The other thing that's in the junkyard is junk cars. And here's one right here. You can buy these junk cars if you want to. Okay? And it's going to tell me the price of this one is $12,000 and the estimated value is about $11,000 in its current condition. There's wiggle room on there, but we're going to talk about these junk vehicles in a second. I'm going to tell you what they're good for. First, we're going to talk about parts. Okay, we're going to go around the whole junkyard. Now, the whole purpose, as I said, of going to the junkyard is to make money. It's not just how many credits you made, it's how many credits you made in a certain amount of time. So the idea is, did you waste a lot of time in the junkyard or did you get right to the point? So what I already mentioned is that I'm not going to sit here and try to figure out which parts I want, which parts I don't want. I'm just going to take them all. So the first thing we're going to talk about is just reselling them as they are. Any part that's red like this, it's less than 15% condition, you cannot repair it. So there's two things you could do. You could either sell it or put it on a car. Here's the deal with selling it. If you buy a part from the store and you sell it back again, you will lose money, because the game only buys the item back from the store at about half the value that it charges you for that item new. The junkyard is different. You're buying the item probably broken anyway, but on top of that, the price is significantly less than what it costs to buy a new one. Even if you just come to the junkyard and don't have any bonuses, you can make money on repairing some of these parts. Now, when the part cannot be repaired, if you don't have any bonuses, it's a little sketchy. It's kind of right on the border. You may lose a slight amount of credits. If you break even, you're probably doing good. Once you have some bonuses that let you buy things in the junkyard for a reduced price, I think I have about 15% discount, then I can buy these parts 15% under value. When I take them back to my garage, I can sell off all the red ones that I can't repair, and I will make a slight profit. But there's something even better that you can do. Before I talk about that, I'm going to talk about these other parts that can be repaired. Once you have the appropriate level, there's a lot of these parts, anything orange or yellow, or sometimes you'll even find a green one. You can repair all those parts. Yes, repairing the part costs money, but it adds more value to the resale of the part than what it costs to repair it. So should you repair everything that you can repair? Yes. Even if you're just going to sell it, you will make more profit by buying it broken at the junkyard, repairing it, and selling it than if you didn't repair it. So that's repairing it. Now, the third point I want to talk about parts. Should you sell parts back to the game? Probably not, because there's something you can do even with a less than 15% unrepairable part that's more profitable than that. What you can do is put it on a car. It doesn't even have to be a car that you bought. It can just be a customer's car that came in, and you can throw a bunch of junk parts on it that can't be repaired, and it'll raise the value of the car. I haven't tested that in a while. It used to work. But whenever you're buying a car to repair it and resell it, you load all the junk parts that you got from the junkyard on it if you want to. Or you can repair the parts that can be repaired and then put them on there. If you buy the part brand new from the game and put it on a car and resell it, you will make a profit more than what if you sold that car and that part both separately to the game. You'll make less money. So putting it on the car and nothing else makes it more valuable. Also, if you were going to sell the part, even though you repaired it and you're going to sell it at a profit, if you put it back on the car, it's worth even more still. So that's the way to go. So the other thing you can do with parts, especially what you would do with these parts that are unrepairable, what about scrap? I can turn them into scrap. Should I turn them into scrap? The simple answer I'm going to tell you is no, don't do that. Here's what scrap does. Scrap, you turn these broken parts into scrap, and then you can put those scrap parts into pieces like this and make them a 1-star or a 2-star or a 3-star part. Short version is that 3 stars is a waste of scrap. But you should never break a part like this into scrap, because, long story short, the price that you're going to pay, even for the cheapest broken tail lights and headlights, you're still only going to get about two pieces of scrap. Maybe you might average 2.5 if you're really, really good at scrapping. The best you're going to hope for realistically is about 2 pieces of scrap per item, and the cheapest prices on the cheapest parts, you're still going to be paying about 2 or 3 credits per piece of scrap. When you add the massive amount of scrap that you need to add to a part in order to get it stars up, all the stars do is they increase that part's resale value. They don't do anything to make the car perform better. They're only for reselling of the parts and putting the part on the car and reselling it. That's all they're for. And I've done the analysis, and the short version is the amount of time and the amount of money that you have to put into making the scrap to put it onto the part. It's not worth it. The only scrap that I use when you go to a barn eventually, you'll be able to get a loot box in the barn, and a lot of times it'll give you free scrap. Okay? It wasn't really free. You had to pay to go to the barn, but you were going to do that anyway. That's the scrap that I use. I don't make my own scrap. I only use the scrap that came from the loot box at the barns. Now, having said all that, go to the junkyard, buy every part that you can buy, repair every part that you can, put all those parts on cars, and sell the cars or give them back to the customer. That's where you're going to get the most money. Now, there's one other thing I got to mention briefly about the junkyard. The junk cars that you find in the junkyard, they're really not having hardly anything left. It's rare that you'll find anything worth a crap on them, but they are actually very valuable. You can make money off them. So first thing is you need the welder, because you want to repair the frame. There's a lot of profit in repairing the frame, and there's a profit in detailing the car. Now, you can run it through the car wash, but it doesn't make the car any more valuable. But running it through the detailer does, as of May 2023 for some reason. So you buy the car, you detail it, you're probably going to wash it anyway. You're going to repair the frame. If you just did those things and sold the car, you would make a profit. However, I'm not done yet. Remember I said putting the parts on the cars makes it more profitable. Nobody says you have to rebuild the whole car. Just put the junk parts that you've already repaired or that you've already got available, put those on the car and resell it. Now, why is the junk car good compared to like a barn car? A barn car has a bunch of parts on it. You have to spend time taking all those parts off. Then you do your repairs, then you rebuild the car. With a junk car, you don't have to take everything off. There's very little to take off. There was nothing ever on it to begin with. All you have to do is repair the frame, detail it, probably wash it, and then start putting all your repaired parts that you already have in inventory on it. So you're saving all that time of tearing it down. You don't have to do that. Tear down time is one of the least profitable things in the game that you can do. Junk cars don't really have any tear down time. So, those are my tips on the junkyard and how to make money. Here's a bonus tip. I've been playing around with drag racing lately. I bought the DLC. It's a lot of fun. But you can get started on the speed strip. I'm going to make a separate video about that. Drag racing in the A bracket is probably one of the most profitable things you can do for your time in this game. But that's another video. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time.